Welcome, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Hard to Impress. Tonight, I sit down with my good friend Jay Disposable. For those of you who don't know Jay, he's a fantastic drummer, great guitarist, and just all around good guy. I met Jay about a year ago playing at Lot 13. My band and his band have played several shows together, so super excited for this one. Jay has played in 2 of the 3 NJ Ska Society live streams. Always a good time. We're going to dig in tonight to some music. Hopefully, we'll get into the proper way to do the heel toe on the kick drum, and we'll probably throw around a lot of Lagwagon references. So, without further ado, let me introduce my man, Jay Disposable. Jay, how's it going, man?
How's it going, Steve? Thanks for having me. You're too kind. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Like I said, I'm not letting you off the hook on that heel toe. I think that is something we should learn in grammar school.
Ask yourself, what are we waiting for?
Technical difficulties. All right. Thank you, computer. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Take 2. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so Jay, for those of us who don't know you, why don't you give us a 10-second drop down on who is Jay Disposable?
Hi, I'm Jay Disposable. I play drums in a band called Disposable. A little side project, kinda. I also play guitar and sing in Bob Gnarly Experience. I'll do a couple acoustic shows here and there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Kind of like a hired gun sometimes too. I could, why not?
What's your hourly rate? What are you charging nowadays?
People will they'll give me beer or a hug, one or the other. It's good.
Hey, hugs are free, man. Go for the beer.
I dig it. I'll dig it.
All right, so to kick this off, the way I like to start this is let's go back to the beginning. I like to find out who is Jay the person. Then we'll kind of get into who's Jay the musician, and then we'll take it from there. So Jay, kind of wind us back. What's kind of your first memory of you getting into music?
Ooh, first memory of me getting into music. I want to say okay, so I've always loved music growing up. I used to be obsessed with. I remember I used to be in love. One of my earliest memories was being in love with the song "Tub Thumper" by Chumbawamba. I don't know. I just remember
like a knockdown song.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
There you go.
And I was like 4 years old singing that song. I didn't know what it was about. I learned a lot later.
And, funny reference about that joke. It is the same chords as Unity by Op Ivy. So I've been plenty of bands when we'll do a medley and we'll just keep swapping in and out. It's great. You got to try it sometime.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. I'm gonna try that out.
Yeah, 1-4-5. You can play so many songs along with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, dude, that song was awesome. That was like my earliest memory. But I mean, I didn't really start playing until I was like, I want to say I was in the 6th grade, so maybe when I was like 11.
Okay.
My uncle taught me guitar. My uncles were in a band in they toured Southeast Asia doing covers. They were a band called my dad was the youngest, and he wasn't allowed to go on tour with them, so he kind of got the short end. No, I don't want to say he got the short end of the stick, but my dad, he stayed at home. But my uncles toured around Asia, and pretty much they just covered 50 songs, and people loved them. And so having my uncles as like these I guess touring musicians, they learned the trades, they learned anything that you could learn for music. So they taught it to my brother and I. My brother's, for those who don't know, is Chen, who's also in Disposable. He's the ukulele singer, guitarist. Yeah, so that's like the earliest, and I want to say I was like 6th grade. I was my brother, my buddy Joe, and I. Just every Friday, every weekend, we would all come to my house, and then my uncle George would come and he'd teach us guitar.
Cool. Now, did you learn, because you play multiple instruments too, so did you learn guitar first?
Yeah, so kind of funny story is I learned guitar first, and my uncle was like, you're kind of slow in changing chords. I was like, yeah, it's just trying to go from like F to E to D and G and all that. I was struggling hard. So he's like, you should try bass. You hit one note. And I was like, oh, all right. This is a lot easier.
Uh, yeah, that's a good way to characterize the bass. You just hit one note.
But what was cool, I guess, with bass though is at first I was a little discouraged because I was like, oh man, I was like, yeah, like I wanted to learn guitar. And then my brother showed me Primus.
Yeah.
And I was like, he showed me the I think it was 1994 Woodstock performance. And he was doing like slap rendition of Master of Puppets, and he did those damn blue collar tweakers and My Name is Mud. I've never seen a 6-string bass till then, fretless bass of all basses. And I was like, I want to do that. And so from there, I just, for like years, I was playing bass. So drums actually came a lot later. Bass was actually my first like instrument that I loved, I want to say.
Wow, that's cool. I did not know that.
It's all fun.
So kind of along the lines, I always find there's like one song or one band that, or even one artist, I shouldn't even say one band, that makes you want to play music. I mean, you said here it's your family, but I think other than your family influence, what was kind of like the one song or the one band that was like you heard it and you're like, yeah, no, I want to do that.
I think the first band that made me ever want to like play music was actually the Ramones. Partly to do with my brother. My brother's had a lot of influence on like music and stuff. I remember we were all learning guitar, and what was cool was, so it was my uncle's 3 students was me, my brother, and my buddy Joe. And Joe was this awesome like Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix shredder. The dude is amazing on guitar. And then there's my brother who so Joe did all the lead, and there's my brother doing like Goldfinger's Superman at the time as a beginner. It's like, how do you do those upstrokes? How do you do those accents? And then he's like, all right, so here's that, and then check out this rhythm. It's of the Ramones doing all the downstrokes.
Yep.
He was like, this is punk rock. We're playing it. And me being the younger brother was like, okay, let's go. So yeah, when I first started playing guitar and then, eventually bass, it was like, all right, especially on guitar, it was like all downstrokes, let's go. 8th notes.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say the first band that made me want to play music was the Ramones.
That's really awesome. I don't think people realize, like, I know their songs are simple, but to play that fast for that long, downstrokes only, it always makes me wonder, why did he never try a different technique? Like, was that the only thing he could, like, just hours of just downstroking? I don't know if you like the band Screeching Weasel, but they did their own, I think it was, they covered Rocket to Russia. And he said he refused to record it any other way than all downstrokes. And it took them forever to get the guitars right, because it was just, hours of downstrokes. It kills your wrist. But yeah, no, it's one of those bands you don't realize it until you actually try to go play it.
They obviously influenced myself, but like you mentioned, Screeching Weasel. Around that time, there was a lot of bands doing. I don't know if it was like a trend, but like there was a couple bands I know that covered Ramones, not songs but albums. So you mentioned Screeching Weasel. I know Mr. T Experience did it. The Queers did it. It was like all these. I don't know what to call them. I call them Ramones core.
That's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, all 8th notes, just going at it. But yeah, people love them. I think Ramones was a great stepping off point for guitar.
Absolutely. Of those 4, which one's your favorite? I always go between Mr. T and the Queers. I mean, there's just something about the Queers. Their Beach Boys stuff. It gets me every time. I'm not gonna lie. Hawaii is one of my favorite songs.
Same. I love the Queers. Mr. T Experience, actually, I really, really loved. I mean, I don't really know much about the Queers like in person. I like met him in passing, but like Dr. Frank from Mr. T Experience is just such a nice guy, and that just adds value to the band and to the music.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So I would like to know, what was like the first CD or cassette, or maybe it was even vinyl, who knows? What was the first piece of music you bought with your own money?
With my own money was
Yep.
Less Than Jake's Hello Rockview.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the first albums that I fell in love with.
Really?
Yeah, every song on there was just awesome. All my best friends are metalheads. Like, it was still one of my favorite ska songs, and just like that's actually one of the songs that like I play on bass. That used to be my goal. I was like, if
Hmm.
I could play like Roger, or if I could play that bass line, I'd be so happy. And like,
Yeah.
Roger is just such a great bass player. He's a guitarist too, but yeah, he's just such a great bass player, and just the melodies and all that. That album from front to back is just awesome.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, I'll be honest. I've got a secret. I did not like Hello Rockview when it came out.
Oh, no way.
And I think it's just my age. I'll be honest. I loved Losing Streak. Like that's like a classic. Pez Core, and then they had like a 10-inch before that. And it's like they kind of had this sound, and I don't know what it was about Hello Rockview, but I heard it and I was just like, I don't know. Like it's too like I can clearly identify all the instruments. I don't know what you guys are doing here. It sounds like you have a budget. Like I know it's so cliche to say, but there's just something about that album. I was like, I just can't get into it. And it wasn't until like 10 years later that I'm like, no, this was a great album. I'm just an idiot.
I mean, like it kind of sounds like, and like correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of sounded like, in terms of maybe it wasn't the songs, maybe it was the recordings. Maybe.
I don't know. I was in a weird phase. That was probably when like my favorite band was Thursday. So I'm like, yeah, it's not goth enough for me, man. You're still too happy. But no, it's a solid album. A lot of people refer back to it. One of the things, if I go back and listen to it, like I said, like as someone who tries to record their own stuff, like I think it's top notch. You can't find a flaw in any of those songs recordings, and I totally get why everyone loves it. It's a solid album.
Yeah, I mean, each their own. That's cool though. That like, it's crazy how like I guess with age, you could change your mind about things. It's like, oh, this actually album was pretty good, or like, you ever listen to something that you liked back then, and you're just like, oh man, I don't like this.
How long you got? One of my favorite bands growing up was Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson. Did you ever go? If you ever go back and listen to the Downward Spiral, I used to listen to that thing every day. I can't get through 15 minutes of it, man. I'm just like, what? Like, no knock on Trent or anything, but I'm just like, this is just boring, and it's like drone, and I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't. Yeah, no, there's plenty of those albums.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
my favorite is.
Sorry, go ahead.
You cut out. Sorry, man. What'd you say?
Oh no, I was just saying your taste grows. It is what it is.
Yeah.
What were we saying?
One of the things I like is a lot of YouTube videos have been, it's all about The Cure lately for some reason. And I don't know if you've ever heard like the band Brand New, but that guy always goes out and says, oh, my favorite band was the Smiths and Morrissey. So I'm like, all right, let's go try the Smiths. Everyone likes Smiths. Again, that's another one. I listen to it and I go, how does the guy from Brand New like the Smiths? I don't like, no, they're like when you listen to Get Up Kids, like, yeah, I hear the Cure. I get it. But the Smiths, I'm just like, you know what? It's just not fast enough. Too much chimey guitars. I don't know. There's just something. I always try to go back and be like, what did people like about this? Like, try to objectively, and I'm just like, no, I'm not getting it. Not getting that one.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's like times change. It's like, we think about it now. It's like the songs, like you mentioned, it's like, well, what did they like about this back then? But then I guess back then we're just kind of like, oh, they didn't really do that at the time. So that was like all new and cool to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's very melancholy. I'm like, I don't want to be melancholy. I got enough melancholy going around. So let's get so yeah, we went up through the instruments you played. How did you kind of get into being in a band? I mean, you said you were getting lessons from your brother. So I think more specifically, what was your guys' first band, and how did you start it?
So our first band was technically this band called Out of Shape. And what it was me on bass, my brother on guitar and singing. He didn't learn uke yet. My cousin RJ on drums, and Mo on second bass, which was the weirdest thing. So we had two bassists.
Okay.
And I remember with the two bass, we plugged in two basses into the same amp, and it just sounded mumbled. And I liked it, but at the same time, like I said, it sounded all muffled. Literally, it was just the four of us. Like we hung out every Friday. We used to live in I used to live in Little Falls, my brother and I, and my cousin RJ and Mo. They come over. They come over pretty much every day, technically. But like, we all just hang out and play music in my basement. And then we tried playing. We did play one show. We had like a couple of originals and like mostly covers. We played at the Was Up Cafe. It was like a Filipino restaurant or something in like Union. I don't remember where it is, but we played one show there and it was fun, but nothing really came out of the band. And then a couple years later, my cousin wasn't he was busy with work or whatever, so my brother was like, "Hey, I actually do want to play shows. I actually want to play music. Out of the three of us, you're the only one that could keep a beat. Can you play drums for us?" That was like 2011, end of 2011, 2000, early 2012, and that's when I learned. Well, when I took drums seriously, because all I knew how to do was just the basic 1, 2, 3, 4 Ramones beat, and yeah, just from there, it was like, all right, let's let my brother's like, yeah, let's play shows. I want to do that. I want to actually do it for real, not just like us watching movies and like hanging around in the basement. I was like, all right, let's do it. So the three of us went all in, and we just kept going at it. And 2012 May is when we started. Um, we What was actually pretty cool was like, so Mo was hanging out with us too, but he was busy with work too. So technically, it was just my brother and I at first, and then Mo was like, "No, I'm down. Let's play bass." So he was on board, so that worked out. And that was pretty much beginning of 2012. That was the beginning of Disposable. And
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty much like how we started. I mean, we've always been friends. I've obviously known my brother my entire life. So yeah, we played. It was May 2012 at the Sorry, not the Canvas Clash. The Clash Bar in
Okay.
Clifton. Yeah, I was 20 years old. I wasn't even old enough to get in yet. But
I'm sure Bob was
awesome
glad.
guy. He let me in. I told him I wouldn't drink. Bob's always awesome. Shout out to him. Whatever he's doing, because I know the Clash Bar is retired.
Yep.
It's a new place now, I believe.
Yeah, someone bought it. From what I understand, someone bought it from him. We actually played one of the last shows from there. Randy put on like a Scalloween, and then I think 2 weeks later he kind of shut it down.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of feel bad for the new owners. They kind of took it over, and then this happened. But yeah, no, Bob's a great guy. I've been playing shows there since I want to say 2014. A lot goes to be said when you'll let any band play. He was that into just having bands be there, and sometimes you'd have a good crowd, and sometimes you didn't, and it just all went along with playing there. But yeah, that place was great. I love the Clash Bar.
Oh yeah, it's still I can still consider it home. It's still one of my favorite venues that I've ever played.
Yeah. So am I hearing this correctly? Your first band was actually Disposable?
Yeah, first real band was Disposable. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of the band, because you guys, I don't want to characterize you as ska or punk or surf rock, but what would you say kind of is, if there even is a definition of what is the sound of Disposable?
That's a loaded question. Nah,
That's my
it's so it depends on who you ask. It's just like what's cool about the three of us is like we have our influences are very eclectic. So like you have me who's like, oh, I love that '90s punk rock sound. So it's like No Effects, Lagwagon, Offspring, and my brother's like, oh, I loves that Motown. Mo's into Motown too. Mo loves the grunge and all that, and like my brother loves like surf music and like the traditional ska and like we all have our own. We have like the common grounds of like or like the common interests and common bands that we love, but like at the end of the day, we are all different people. So when we create our music, when we write, it's like all these different influences just fly together. So like
Hmm.
I think my brother liked describing us as, I hope I'm saying this right, if James Brown and the Ramones had a baby in the islands, something like that.
This is what you get.
Yeah,
Pretty accurate.
and like ska, surf, punk, soul, even funk. It's just all just mixed together, and that's how you get us. You know, we like to dabble around in a lot of different things too. Like we'll do, we'll play slow. We'll play like a 50s doo wop kind of song, and then we'll go into like a really fast Ramones speed eighth note song, and then you'll go into like an Amy Winehouse kind of dig, Valerie kind of dig, and like we're having fun. So we try not to subject ourselves to like I guess one sound. The next thing you know, your music's just gonna or it's very easy to fall into like writing one song and then you write 10 and they all sound the same.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Well, why don't you walk us through what is kind of the process of writing a song in this band?
So, I mean, for the most part, I have to say it's like my brother's just the mastermind of things. He's got like this brain that like it's going a million miles an hour and it's awesome. Because like, well, I guess like the writing process goes, all right, so he has an idea, whether it's just a lyric, a song title, or a chord progression, and then from there we sprout it out. And we'll be in the basement or in the garage, in the studio, wherever we're just hanging out, having rehearsal, and we'll be there for hours writing a song. Sometimes it'll take like 10 minutes, or they'll be like, okay, I want to do this. And it's like, all right, cool. But I mean, I guess that's like everyone's kind of like that. It's just like it could come quick or it could take like a couple days. Like we'll have. I remember Kamikaze Funk Up. For a while, we didn't know how to end it, which is why when we played it live, we would go straight into Pretentious Soul because we didn't really know how to end it. I mean, we found a way later, but like that one lingered for a while. We're like, well, what do we do? But the song's pretty much there. But how do we end it? I don't know. Let's just go into
Right.
Soul. Let's just keep going. We're not recording right now anyway.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the Skywalkers. We actually tried to blend songs together,
Mhm.
and instead of either doing like the one note end or you hold the note out end. Yeah, I hear you. At some point, you're like, we've done every ending, guys. What is there left to do?
What we do, what I end up doing a lot is we'll hit the note, ben, ben, and like
Yep.
I was only supposed to do that like once or twice, but now it's kind of like a joke. I do it for every song. It's like I can't even say it's a joke anymore because I just do it out of like instinct.
Yep.
Yeah. When you,
So you guys have been a band for a long time. What would you say is your favorite show you've played as Disposable? If there is one, you can go over a couple if you want.
oh man, that's hard. One of my favorite shows that sticks out is we played down in Tom's River with the Damn Long Hairs and I think it was Makita. We played a wrestling show. It was our shortest set, but me being a huge wrestling fan, like I got to run around in the ring. I got to take a bump in the ring, and like I before the show started, they were just dicking around the ring, and I was able to referee a match. That was a lot of fun. So I mean, granted, like I said, it was a 20-minute set, but like everything around us was just awesome. I mean, like I felt like I was at home. being
That's
a huge.
cool.
That's one show. The shows we've done a lot of shows out in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That's like another home to us. They're so welcoming there. Out in we played this place called River Street Jazz Cafe, and our buddy Rob was able to hook us up with like shows there. And Rob Alpic is just one of the nicest promoters, people in general out there. He's a big wrestling fan too. If you're a wrestling fan, obviously, I just kind of gravitate towards you. Yeah, he's cool. He hooked us up over there. They're always super nice. You know, we played with there was one show that we played with Big D and the Kids Table and Hub City's Stompers, I think. Yeah, Big D and I think Hub City, and it was just the like I said, the crowd there is super welcoming, super nice, and just we feel at home even though we're two hours away. And then it's
Yeah.
like we play, the show ends at like 2 a.m. and then we have to drive another 2 hours back, but it's all in fun. I can't get enough of those shows. And yeah, those are the shows that stand out. And we played one Meat Locker show. I mean, we played a bunch, but I think it was one of our anniversary shows. We played the Meat Locker, and another wrestling related thing was I got to do the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing where like I had 2 beers and I like smashed them and like I started chugging them. So, and just everyone, the vibe in general that night, it was just the camaraderie of the scene and everyone was just there having fun and like it was just the nicest time.
Yeah, the Meat Locker is a unique place. We've gotten to play there. We put a show on there. I think other than the CBGB's toilet, I think the Meat Locker won. I get the award for best toilet in New Jersey. That was something else.
There was a meet that was like, if you went to the if you use the Meat Locker bathroom, you're immune to COVID.
Man. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everyone should play there once. That's what I always said. It's awesome. And the guys who run it are pretty cool too. So, awesome place.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So, did you guys ever, you got some recordings? What's kind of that process like? How do you guys, pick what songs you want to bring into the studio? Or is it kind of like, here's all the material we got? Kind of what's your process around that?
A little bit of both. So like when we did, I mean, each recording, each EP we did was kind of different. I remember it was 2000, I think it was 2012. September 2012, we recorded our first EP. This EP is Disposable. And we just wanted to record. We thought it would be fun. We thought it'd be cool. And we grabbed a studio in Woodland Park, I'm sorry. And the guy agreed to do it a 12-hour session, which we realized later would have been easier if we just spread up those 12 hours because we were literally in the studio from 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m. or whatever. And it was like, by like hour 6, it's like, Chen's voice is gone. I'm tired on the drums. Our ears are ringing.
Yep.
Let's do this. We had this like very punk rock attitude where it was, or like, I want to say like the DIY attitude of I don't know, like what's Minor Threat. There you go. I was watching American Hardcore and they were like, oh yeah, you record one take, you don't need to do much. That's it. Go.
Yeah.
That was my attitude. And I regret that now actually kind of because I was like, yeah, I screwed up a couple times, whatever. I'll just leave it in. And now it's like I listened to the first EP, I'm like cringing. And it's like I just thought like, oh yeah, it's punk rock, just leave it in.
Yep.
But like, we as each EP that we recorded, it was like a lesson. Okay, I'm not gonna do the Minor Threat DIY one take and done, one and done deal. All right, I'm gonna actually keep going with this, and like from there, in the second EP that we did, we got lucky actually. My buddies Alex and Chris were going to IAR, and they were like, hey, we need IAR is a recording school. Excuse me, is a recording school. in New York City, and they were like, "Hey, we need a band to record. You know, how many songs would you guys be able to do? Like a few songs. You know, we'll record it. We'll do it for free. But you know, these are students that are going to be recording it. But these students were awesome. You know, my
Yeah.
buddies Chris and Alex were them alone are amazing musicians. Chris is like they are in a band called Montgomery, and Chris is a drummer, Alex is a guitarist. They really know their music. Like they're amazing songwriters. So like I was happy to have just alone their hands on this project. And like the other students were picking up quick. They were like, okay, you know, the teacher was super nice. He was like, okay, this is how you mix, blah blah blah. And so we were able to record I think it was 4 songs actually. Yeah, Kamikaze was 4 songs. We were able to record the 4 songs in IAR, and then the last one is Can't Stop Smiling. We met our buddy Dan, who's a great producer. He's worked with a lot of bands in the scene, like Backyard Superheroes and like Hub City. Super nice guy. He's out in Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, and he was like, "Hey man, like I really love you guys," and like he's super nice, super warm and welcoming. He was like, "I'd love to record you guys." I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So we did a couple sessions with him. Like I said, we learned our lesson. We're not going to do the 12-hour marathon. So we did, a couple sessions with him. And what was cool was Dan, for me at least, Dan's a drummer. So I got to learn a lot. He's like amazing at drums. And so he was able to teach me stuff that like just helped me on my technique or like recording. Hey, if you're doing this on the drums, try it this way. It's like, oh, okay. And so he like it wasn't the last EP was special for me because it wasn't just recording an EP. It was also a lesson in like drums and like the guy's super nice in general. He let us into his house and just like the recording was at his house. He let us into his home. He fed us. He hung out with us. So in terms of like choosing songs, it's like what we have at that moment, and then like we're also stuff that we're writing. So like
Right.
sometimes like we'll record. I think in the first EP, All Alone was a new one, and then the last one, my brother's Where Do We Stand? That one was it wasn't new, but we haven't recorded it as a band. My brother, what the little fun fact is, my brother sang that his now wife Karina in to propose to her. So we never played that as a band. We did a Disposable song. That was fun. Yeah, so stuff like that. It's that's kind of how we did it. I hope I kind of went on and just ranted. I hope I answered that question.
No, you totally did. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know you guys had 3 releases.
Yeah, I mean, we've had like digital stuff where like our buddies in CCM recorded us. Brett Ross and Sean Costello. They're both from Lorg. Also great people. They recorded us for CCM and they as a project, and we got some releases out from them.
Super cool. If you could go back and change one song, and I think you're going to hint towards the first EP maybe, but what would it be? What's kind of like I listen to my recordings all the time and I'm like, yeah, I hear things. And then like when my friends hear it, I'm like, oh, did you hear that slip up? They're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So what would be like one thing you would change on any of your songs if you could?
Okay, so one song I think that's coming to mind right now is Busy, Busy, Busy. We recorded it twice, and if I could have a third shot at redemption, I would. Because the first time we did it, it was still my first year of actually playing drums. So if you listen to the first recording in this EP is Disposable, and contrast it to the 2000, I think it was 2017 or 2017 Can't Stop Smiling version. They're both different, and I wasn't getting this accent that I wanted down in the recording. I was just that day I just couldn't get it down, so I was like kind of messing that up. So I would like to get that down again, hopefully in the future, maybe one day.
Yeah.
It's I guess like you're your own worst critic, I guess. So it's just like you just pick apart some people are like, "Oh, dude, yeah, it's fine. I like it." It's like, maybe it's because maybe it's because I'm the one playing it. I know what I missed and what I didn't do.
I know for me, I mean, maybe drummers, I don't know if you guys go through the same thing, but guitar tone, I spend hours watching videos. I've bought so much crap. And I go to record, I'm like, dude, this is going to sound awesome. I've spent my time. I've got my amp dialed in. I'm all ready to go. And then, like, we get the final mix. I'm like, guitar sounds like shit. What the hell was I thinking? And I hate it. And I won't go listen back to it. I'm like, oh, I'm done. No, this sucks. Yeah, I totally get the vibe all the time. I can't name one record we've made where I'm like, you know what, guitar tone, you nailed it. It's either like I went like heavy metal on a slow song, or like on the fast song, we didn't put any gain on it whatsoever. It's like I've never found the sweet spot yet.
Oh man, it's. I mean, with guitars, I mean, like I don't know much about like pedals and stuff, but from what I've seen from my brother and like all these other bands that I've seen, it's like they have this like big ass
Yeah.
pedal board, and it's just like it just looks so confusing to me. I don't know. Maybe it's simpler than I'm imagining it. Maybe because
No.
even as a drummer, I'm just like 3-piece, snare, tom, tom. I don't even use the second rack tom. And it's
Yeah.
like I see you guys with pedals, like you guitar players, and it's just like even bass players too.
Yep.
The string players, as all these pedals. I don't know. I don't know. What does this one do? What's that one do? What's the difference between these three? Like they all sound the same to me.
The joke I always have is if someone has a lot of pedals, and I probably own about 15 of them, so I fall right in this category. Your pedal board is worth more usually than your amp or your guitar. And there's no reason. Like I've got a tremolo pedal. We probably used it for 5 seconds on one song. It came to every show with us. No one went home that night. Was like, dude, did you hear Steve's trem? It was awesome. No, that has never happened. It's always just this battery's dead or that thing's not working, and but it's a cool hobby. That's what I say.
Hey, dude, if you're having fun with it, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of like it being complicated, I see what people do with their pedal boards and like, especially like the loop pedals, and they're like playing around with different gadgets and all that. They make it look a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's just when you break it down, yeah, it's expensive, and the amount of time you're actually using some of them is, especially in like a ska band where you're usually just going back between clean and distorted, and I know the big debate for me once was, okay, do I use my amp distortion or do I use a pedal? Because I had a Marshall, and I'm like, no, I'm going to use the pedal. Who wants to hear a Marshall? This one sounds better. So, yeah, no.
Options.
No. Options. Yeah, too many. You should keep it simple, right? So you were going on a little bit about your drum kit. So you like to keep it simple. So I'm going to ask you, who were your drummers that influenced you the most? So if like I had to sit down and say, I know he likes Lagwagon, so we can talk about that separately. But who are some drummers where you put on the album and you're like, who is this guy? What is he doing?
So right off the bat, the first one was Marky Ramone. I remember watching this video on YouTube, and but this is like before I played drum, or like right, I guess when I started just like I want to say messing around with drums. My brother was like, oh, like I mentioned with guitar, Ramones is just such a influential band on us. And I remember just fooling around on drums. I was like, oh, I'll check out drums. Marky. And the video was him in a car garage, and he's like, all right, metal drummers could do this. And he's like doing, I think it was like triplets on like the toms or whatever. I was like, and then speeds up and it sounds awesome. And he's like, but they can't do this. And then he starts playing those fast eighth notes. I remember being like, well, I can't do what he did the first thing, but I could definitely attempt to
Yeah.
speed and do the second thing. I was like, well, I like punk rock, so I should get used to this anyway. So my philosophy back then, it still is technically now, if you could play eighth notes, play eighth notes. Like, it sucks because I actually threw myself into a little trap because I can't play quarter notes. I can't play slow. I get so off timing. So bad. Mo calls me tempo because I don't know what tempo is.
Is that your rule? They shove everything must be over 180 beats per minute, or I'm not playing.
I tried it, not intentionally, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's like for the third EP, I remember Dan was like, "So, how fast are your songs?" And Mo and my brother look at each other. They look at me and they go, "However fast he wants to play that night." I'm so inconsistent, and it's so bad. I'm working on it. Um, but yeah. So Marky was like 8 notes, and it's like awesome. I gotta learn those 8 notes. And then like, as I guess time went on, I want to say it was like 2012, 2013 ish. I didn't really learn my craft. Like I said, I was Marky. I could do that 8 notes, and then I remember I was jamming with my friend. I was playing guitar, and he asked me to play drums, and I was like, all right, we were just jamming. And I love the dude. Dude's a nice guy, but I remember I said, yeah, I'm not really a drummer. I'm just playing drums. And that came out of my mouth. And what came out of his mouth was, yeah, I could see that. I don't know why I got offended. I said it first. I don't know, whatever. I was just like, all right, yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure. I'm not a drummer. I went home that night and I looked at drum videos to try to improve my craft. And I found Dave Ron. I was like, well, I love Lagwagon. I'm going to watch Lagwagon video. Dave Ron was playing May 16. And it was a really, really bad quality video. But I saw everything he was doing as fast as I could, at least. And it just, the way he plays it was hard hitting, it was fast. And the thing that grasped me was the single kick too. So that's why I especially back then I couldn't afford a double kick, so that wasn't in the picture. So I was like, all right, make back to Minor Threat philosophies. I was like, all right, make do with what you have, deal with what you could get. I have a single kick, I'm going to use that. If Dave Ron could play awesome with a single kick, I'm going to play that. What in hindsight, what I should have said was, if Dave Ron has awesome rudiments, I should learn that. But I went with the single kick technique instead. So, yeah, it's just doubling for me. Like you mentioned the heel toe. So that was the way I learned it. Was the double kick wasn't slide. I cheated. It's heel toe, and so
that's not cheating.
I'm sorry.
I said that's not cheating. You can do either or, but I think the heel toe. Believe it or not, I think it sounds better. Oh. I don't know why. I just feel like you get more of an even kick on it versus the slide.
That's what I was thinking. For me, at least, that's how it sounds. But I mean, some people could use the slide, or some people, use heel toe. I guess it depends on the drummer. It's just the way I do it. Like you said, it's just cleaner with heel toe. And so I remember my cousin was like, here, if you want to do heel toe, practice this technique. And my foot's on the floor. He's like, hit your heel and then toe, going like that. So I would be in class and all you hear is tap, 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 tap. You stop. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's kind of, and dude, when you first start drums, what I didn't know, maybe it's because I was doing heel toe, but I was getting shin splints like crazy. My shins were on fire. I mean, drums is very physical in general, so yeah, I guess that's just how it is. But yeah, Dave Ron's just playing in general. He uses all. It's just his is just toe slide, whatever. But like I said, I had to make do with what I had, so I just heel toed it. And so I watched a bunch of Dave Ron videos. I mean, Lagwagon, whatever. If everyone knows me, they know what Lagwagon is, or at least they've heard of it. My friend Gina was like, she was like, Lagwagon a clothing brand? I was like, no, why? She's like, you have like 10 shirts. I thought it was a brand.
That's awesome.
All right, I can see what you mean by that now.
Yep.
So like, I got into that was like number 2, Dave Ron. I was just like awesome. And then the third, actually, I didn't realize this until later, was, like I said, I didn't learn the rudiments, so all I knew were just drum beats. So I was like, how do I learn? The whole paradiddle, right, left, right, left, right, left, something like that. I suck with rudiments. So I was like, all right, what can I do right now? So I listened to Milo Goes to College, My Age, or dude, what's the Coolidge? That beginning, he rolls in. I was like, oh, maybe I could do that. Bill Stevenson. Started watching his videos, and you watch his videos back then. You watch his videos now. It's in general, it's just awesome because the dude's just a monster at drums, and like he just makes it look so easy. He's playing quick. He's playing the eighth notes. He's doing the fills, but like when he plays, he's got this look of like a caveman, but then I don't know, he's like smiling, and then he's just playing like it's nothing. I was just like, I gotta do that. I look like I'm struggling when I'm playing drums.
Yeah, it's effortless, right? Like there's some guitar players too, like they'll be speed tapping and it doesn't even look like their fingers moving, and I'm like, I can't get 6 of those notes, and you just played 30.
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess practice becomes perfect. Or I'm not there yet at all. It's hard.
I'm going natural born talent. I've been practicing a lot. I still can't do it. So I got to ask you, what is your favorite Lagwagon album?
Let's talk about feelings.
Yeah.
Haas is a close second. I remember listening to Haas. A lot of the music that I got into was like, so college was nice in that I started taking the train to Rutgers of Newark, and so I had a lot of time on the train, and I had a lot of time in between classes. So I listened to a lot of music, and I just remember I knew of NoFX, I knew of Lagwagon, I knew of like the Fat Wreck bands, but like during my first semester of college is when I had the time to listen to everything. So I really got into the Fat Wreck bands, and like I just went on a huge Lagwagon binge. And Haas was awesome, and that was my favorite. And then I listened to Let's Talk About Feelings, and like to this day, it's still one of my favorite. It is my favorite album. It's just from the first song to the last. It opens up with "After You, My Friend," up until Owen Meany, and it's a nice ride. That was little fun fact, I guess. That was the last song, Owen Meany. That was actually supposed to. It was about to be a song for Joey Cape's side project, Bad Astronaut. But they're like, yeah. But yeah, it was just. I still listen to it. I still I got really souped when I was so upset that they didn't come to Jersey and play Let's Talk About Feelings, because they did a tour, and I got to see them play Trash though. They were 2014. They played Trashed with I don't know if you knew of there was like they did Fat Wrecked 25 years or something, and they showed it was just this big list of all the Fat Wreck bands, and like they played Stone Pony, the summer stage, and it was like Bad Cop, no, Swingin' Utters, Strung Out, Lagwagon, NoFX, and NoFX obviously headlined. Lagwagon though played Trash, which was really cool. Do you have a favorite album?
For me, it's Haas. I tell people Haas changed my life. Like I said, I had a gothic phase. So it was 9 Inch Nails, it was Marilyn Manson, it was KMFDM. Steve was not the Steve you see today. And my friend Jimmy looks at me, he goes, "You're so depressed." And I was like, I don't know. He goes, it's the music you listen to. It's garbage, Steve. I'm sorry, it's garbage. I'll say he was 90% right on that. He hands me Haas and he goes, "Listen to this. I guarantee you'll be smiling in an hour." And I remember putting it on, and there was like the deep bass, and I was like, "What? He gave me more gothic music? What the hell is this?" And then he opens with that line, and then that beat kicks in. And I'm like, "What? What is that beat? What is that?" And I was just honed in. That was it. I didn't listen to anything else probably for 3 months.
Hell
I
yeah.
tried to listen to every song. I was like, this is the best thing. I probably went out and like the next day bought 3 other fat records. They were all the same. Whether it was No Use for a Name or it was Diesel Boy. They had all the comps. It was probably 1995. So it's when like they were all actually just coming out, and it was like one after another. I don't even think I bought No Effect until like 3 years later. I didn't even know who they were. I was like, just give me Lagwagon. I just want Lagwagon. And then they Double Platinum came out, and they played. There was a place in Boundbrook called the Palace,
Hmm.
and it was like a small club, probably held like 300, 400 people, and they played there. So we drove down, we went, and I didn't know their bass player was like 6'4". And my favorite story is they're in the middle of a song, and he falls off the stage, and all you see is his feet like hanging out next to the drum set. He didn't stop. He played the rest. I think it was Rifle. He finishes the song. They stop. They go, "Are you going to get up?" And he goes, "Yeah, I guess so." And then he gets up, and they played for like 90 minutes. It was phenomenal.
Dude, that's awesome. I had no idea you saw Lagwagon. Dude, and you saw him at a small stage too, like way back. Dude, that's so rad. If what's funny about like old pictures of Lagwagon is like you see like Joey Cape, the lead singer, and he's like my height. And then you see everyone else, and everyone else is just
Yep,
towering over him.
giant.
Oh yeah, the dude. I think yeah, Chris Flippin's 6'4". Yeah, dude. Yeah, dudes. They call him the big bitch.
Yeah. No, I've always said it. I don't think you like Lagwagon sounds great on CD. You see them live, and your whole world of what they're doing. Like when you can see firsthand what they're playing versus hearing what they're playing on the records, it's awesome. I mean, they're one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, dude, your stepping off point of Haas was just that's definitely to me. I think that's one of their most eclectic albums too. I mean, like you could how do you
Mhm.
compare, like the intro to kids don't like to share that slow bass, and then like you mentioned, it kicks into the thrash, but then you have the bass line and like drum groove to move the car, and then you have this slow kind of pace for what was it Ride the Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's like that's an eclectic album. I feel like that really showcases their sound and their talent.
Yeah,
So
and it's like 15 songs long, which, I know for like a punk album, you're like, oh, that's standard because they're 2 minutes each, but these weren't like 2 minute songs. Like they were hitting three and a half. Like that was a big album. Like it was like a good 40 minutes. Like you had to invest some time if you wanted to listen to that whole thing.
oh yeah, definitely. And it's always cool whenever like I mean you like you mentioned a lot of the bands are doing 2 minutes and like they're finishing their album in like 23 minutes. So like
Yeah.
you see like a band going out of the norm and just in their genre or whatever. It's pretty cool to see. I mean
Yeah.
that's partly one of the reasons why I love them. I love like No Effects and all that. And I mean to each band is their own specialty and talents, but like the Lagwagon sound of like the eclecticness and all that, that's what really grasped me.
Yeah. So I mean, we could sit here all night and talk about Lagwagon, but what I want to know is what is Jay Disposable's guilty pleasure in music? What's the one album that you like, but you don't really tell anyone you like it?
I mean, I've been I like to think I'm open to music, and so like
Hmm.
It's funny because like Mo and I like we'll talk about music, and it's like oh dude, how do you like that? And it's just like I don't know, like um, did you ever watch Walking Dead
No.
on AMC? All right, so pretty much there's this actress named Emily Kinney, and she sang a song on the show, so I was like, all right, she's got a good voice, so I'll check out her music, and I listened to it, I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I tried like when you get excited about something, you show your friend or whatever. And I remember showing Mo, and he was like, "Dude, what is this?" And I was like, "I like it. Leave me alone." And so yeah, I just if you could have fun to it, why not? I mean, you know, I used to I I look back at my high school years. I used to be such a like a closed-minded punker. was like, oh, mainstream's stupid. What bands were
Yeah.
I at the time when I was in high school? Like Fall Out Boy and like, Panic at I'm still not too big on Panic at the Disco. To each their own, whatever. But like, I'm listening to bands now. Like I didn't really like Newfound Glory back then. I love them now. And it's like I look at myself in
Yeah.
high school and I'm just like, dude, shut up. Like music's music. Just enjoy. If you could enjoy it, just enjoy it. And so I've been trying to like experiment with
Yep.
a lot of pop stuff now. Like, I've been trying to get into pop. I mean, granted, there's not a lot that really stuck so far, but I haven't really dug a lot. I mean, this year's has been mostly like a lot of Frank Turner. I mean, I wouldn't consider him really. He's not like mainstream pop, but like, I'm really digging like folk stuff now. I'm really digging like indie pop. But like right now I've been trying to experiment with like, well, one of the things that I want to do is I want to do a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes version of like something that's going on nowadays. Where it's like just like, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, those watching who don't know them, they're a punk rock supergroup, and they cover all these songs. They cover like from "Isn't She Lovely" to the Eagles. I forgot what song they cover from the Eagles. They cover John Denver. They cover Dolly Parton and like Christina Aguilera. So I was like, I've been kind of wanting to do that. So that's why recently I've been trying to get into some like pop music. I haven't dug too deep in it at all. Actually, it's a recent idea, technically. But yeah, I'm trying to think what other bands that I would consider like, I guess, a guilty pleasure. I know Emily Kinney's definitely went up there because like, I'll say that I like them, and when people listen to them or when they see her, they're just like, you wearing a Bad Ghostbuster shirt is listening to this. It's like, yeah, she's cool, right? It's like, no. Yeah, that's it. Really. I don't get
Yeah. Awesome. I'll tell you, for me, it's Taylor Swift. My daughter is in love with her, and then I saw her Tiny Desk. Did you ever watch that NPR Tiny Desk?
I've seen a couple of those. She did them.
It's fantastic. It's just like, put all the stuff aside. She can sing, she can play guitar, she plays the piano, and you're just like, why can't you make an album that sounds like this? Pull all the other crap to the side. Just make this. But then again, she's worth millions, and I'm sitting in the basement. But I honestly, it gets me every time. If it comes up in my recommend, I watch it. It's like 15 minutes long, but it's really good.
Dude, send me some recommendations. That could be a song, or that could be music that I could like try to Me First it up.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, my favorite Me First is "I Believe I Can Fly."
Oh
That
yeah.
arc cover, oh man, it gets me every time. Like, solid, just hands down solid.
Did you ever see the music video to it?
No, there's a music video.
There's a music video, and it's basically people in a karaoke bar, and they're cutting different people. So you got like what's his name, Derek from Sum 41, and then they switch
Okay.
Paris Hilton of all people in a Fat Wreck music video. It's just a line of like cameos by all these like famous people. You should check it out, dude. That's a great choice. By Me First.
Yeah, the other thing that we play all the time. Oh yeah, the other thing we play constantly in my house is the Hamilton musical. Have you watched or heard that yet?
I've heard of it, but I never watched it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. How do you like it? Was it a good recommendation or?
It's pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna give them credit. It's 2.5 hours, so you're gonna invest some time in it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I said, my daughter is the one who got us into it, and we watched it. And then I'm like, Weehawken's like 25 minutes away, right? And like her face lit up. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go bring you to the place where Hamilton actually got shot and killed. So we made a whole day trip out of it. But yeah, no, watch it. It's different. It's got all the elements of a musical, but it's more upbeat. There's a lot of high energy into it. I would say go watch it. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, dude, thanks for the recommendation. That's like Disney Plus it was on, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Okay.
Disney Plus.
That sounds like a cool trip. I like that. It's like I took my daughter to see, like if you word it that way, I took my daughter to see or to a place where somebody died.
I mean, in my defense, they do have a big statue like memorializing it. But yeah, that was pretty much the gist of the trip.
Just a good way to
So I mean, hey, we're coming up on an hour here. I got a couple more questions for you, and then we're gonna get you to play some tunes. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So more along the lines of your music and stuff. Where do you guys normally draw inspiration for the songs you write? I know you said Chen brings some ideas, this and that, but you guys try to just keep them comical. You got some serious stuff. What's it
Um,
like?
it's kind of it depends on the song. It depends on like I guess our mood at the time. Like I mentioned, Chen's pretty much he's like a big contributor of the writing. Like a lot of it's like pretty much his. And
Hmm.
I remember, so you have jokes like all alone, and it's like the bitch this tent, it's an innuendo, and then you have stuff like busy, 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 where it's like people like where do I get my downtime? Um, it's pretty much like that was a personal song from him, and he was like pretty much I guess just figuring things out at the time. What was it 8 years ago or whatever, 9 years ago when he wrote it? And then you have songs like "Oh Jane," where my brother I remember binged Daria. "Oh Jane" is a reference to Daria, and
Really?
yeah, my cousin got the Daria series on DVD. I was like, oh, cool. So she watched it. My brother watched it, and then he's like, I got a song idea. I already wrote some of it, and he pretty much took like giving away all the secrets. I think he took My Age and Beatles. I think no, not 8 days a week. He took a Beatles song that has like a do 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 do. Um, he took that song, My Age, kind of that like I guess like that feel of it, and he's like, all right, Ramonesify it, and then let's add some Daria references in there. Oh, Jane, and
Sweet.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, it has to do with like whatever's on mind. Like I mentioned, sometimes he just has like we'll have an idea or a song title, and we'll just run off from there. He watched Daria, and he was like, all right, let's. Well, I got a song to go. Get in the van. You know, the van is the mystery machine. It's a love song to Bella, and yeah, he's whatever's on mine. So like those are like cartoon references. We're a bunch of geeks. You know,
Yeah.
we're whatever we're watching, whatever we like. If we could express it in our music, we're gonna do it. And as long as we can find a cool way to do it and just like have fun with it, yeah, why not? Let's throw it in there.
Yeah. I got to ask you, you got a lot of action figures behind you.
Welcome.
How many do you have? Maybe we should have a contest if people in the chat. How many action figures do you think Jay has on that shelf back there?
I'd have to count them. I honestly don't know. I These are
I'm going 150.
150. Sure. I'm gonna go with yeah, because it's like rows. Like this here is like 3 rows of like 10, 15 people, and that's just this row. And then you have that, and that, and all the stuff behind the guitars.
Yeah,
What's funny
that's
is,
a neat collection.
I'm sorry.
I said that's a neat collection. I don't think people realize how hard it is to even make a collection like that.
Thanks. I mean, it's cool. Is like, or I don't know if "cool's" the right word, but what's always been a thing has been like toys and like, my brother and I grew up as like I mentioned, we're huge geeks, so it's like it just never left our sight. We like comics, we like TV, we like toys, and it's just, to me, it's kind of like I'm 28 years old, and I'm going to Target in the toy section. And there's like a little kid there, is like 5 years old, getting the same thing. I'm just like, all right, whatever. And it's like my friend's like, dude, it's like you're a grown man. What are you doing? It's like I'm a grown man buying my own toy because I worked for my own money. So,
That's great. That should be a T-shirt.
as a 28-year-old, I have like the enthusiasm of 28-year-olds. So it's like wrestling, comics. I love X-Men, Ghostbusters. I don't know if a lot of 8-year-olds know Ghostbusters right now. I mean, the new movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's stuff that you grew up on too, right? Ghostbusters, Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah, G.I. Joe. Yeah. Yeah, I never got into the whole collecting that stuff. I was a big video game collector. There was one point in my basement, I probably had 12 consoles and over 1,000 games, and I loved it, man. I could tell you anything about any one of those. I think I had like 200 Nintendo games for the original NES alone. Like, I was deep into it. It was kind of an addiction. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of sick.
Collecting is definitely an addiction. You get something new, especially with video games. You get to play these things, like,
yeah,
it's just popping in a new video game cartridge and like seeing what story, what the controls, and like trying to find out like the graphics. I mean, finding out the controls and seeing the graphics and all that. It's like that's fun alone. To have that many games is awesome. Do you still have those games?
I sold a lot of them. So my brother-in-law turned me on to the Raspberry Pi, and basically I have an arcade machine that has 4,000 games on it. Yeah, it takes up the size of your cell phone. I'm like, yeah, I could use the space back. I don't need the original Master System version and console on my 30-inch CRTV that weighs 800 pounds. So. The only thing I really kept is I kept my Atari games. So I have about 45 Atari games, and I kept when Nintendo first came out, they had what was called the Black Box series.
Mm-hmm.
So the original 30 games, they all have that iconic. It's the black box and then like the actual 8-bit drawing of the game on it. So like if you ever bought like the original Mario Brothers or like Soccer or Duck Hunt or all them, they all have the same look. It was just that's what they did for the first 30 games. So I have 28 of the 30. The ones I don't have is one's called Donkey Kong Junior Math. That'll run you like $200. So and the other one's called Stack Up, which is a terrible game, and I'm not going to spend $100 on that either. But yeah, no, I kept those because I was like, this is like the history of Nintendo right here. But other than that, I cashed out because the video game industry or the retro video games that hit a bubble, and I'm glad I sold them when I did.
That's good. So I mean, like, what's crazy what you mentioned about like a stack up game. It's like, oh, I don't need that one. So you're actually like opening these up. You're actually trying them out. So it's kind of like pretty much like toy collecting. Yeah, you keep them in the box or you open them up and like you're keeping the ones. That's cool. Like, you're keeping the ones like, oh well, this is Nintendo or video game history. Hold on to that one. I like that. I didn't realize like I guess video games were like it's pretty much parallel with toys and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like if you follow it, they just started like a whole grading system, and it's out of control. Like, I mean, come on, it's a piece of plastic with a ROM on it. I'm not buying it's worth tens of thousands of dollars here, but to me, the cool ones are like there was this thing called like the Nintendo World Championship in the '90s, where like you were invited to a contest, and if you participated, you got a special cartridge. So there's only like 50 of them. And those go for like thousands of dollars because like people find them at like garage sales in California because the person who participated is like, I don't know what to do with this thing. And it's in a box. They're like 45 now. They're selling a Nintendo game. So in a box of like 20 other games that are worthless, you find like this gem. And to me, it's stuff like that. Like if your parents collected baseball cards or you know, you got like the first issue of Spider-Man. It's like the person who owned it was just like, I don't know, I went to the store that day and bought it. Like, just happened to stay in the box all these years, you know?
You don't realize it, but yeah, you know, if you like the baseball cards and all that, like if you hold on to something, or like I like to think of like this stuff like stocks. Like you could buy something
Yeah.
now, like a new toy, new video game, and be like, all right, this is gonna be worth nothing, whatever. But if you keep it in the box and then one day it does become something, and you still
Yeah.
have that box, you got a lot of money on your hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know though, because it could be worth nothing.
Well, yeah, like take a Beanie Baby, right? Like
Yeah.
those things were huge. Now they're worthless.
Everyone was collecting them, and now it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna be worth a lot. No, nobody cares about them now.
No, it's really what it comes down to. Like I got some comic books from, you know, the 90s,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, this one where Superman dies, this is gonna be worth something. And it's like $4. I think I paid $2.95 for it. Like, no, it's everyone in America bought it and, you know, stuck it in a box, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the figurines I bought like Power Rangers back in the early 90s.
Mhm.
And I think they were like $6, right? And one day my son's like, "Hey, can I play with that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, it's in the box." And it was $12. I was like, "Oh, rip them open. Have a great
All right, it's not worth. It's not worth anything. So, why not?
time." Spend more money on, you know, the box to hold them than, you know, I'm ever gonna make back.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it could be worth a lot, could be worth nothing. Yeah, dude, just tear it open. This isn't gonna.
He played with it for like 4 years straight. I couldn't believe, you
Oh,
know, how well that thing held up. Yeah.
those Power Ranger toys were pretty cool. I had them too, especially the Megazords. I feel like the Megazords are the ones that are worth something.
Yeah. Well, we'll see now. So yeah, so let me get one last thing in. You know, like you said, you have your various bands. Anything you want to plug tonight that you want all of us to go check out when this is over?
Uh, no, oh yes, actually, so I had my first job as a producer. Uh, I recorded something with Disposable. We recorded so a few good records. Um, my buddy does a few good records. It's a label that pretty much like the Jersey scene, punk rock or like whatever. He made a compilation called Phony Hawks Pro Skater, and it's just a bunch of tracks of bands covering tracks from the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater soundtracks, or like from 1 through 4 or 5, 1 through 4,
Okay.
and we covered Bad Religion's "You" off the second game. And a little funny story about that was, so I bought a mic on Amazon. I was like, oh, I want to record stuff. I think it'd be fun. And my buddy was like, you know, do you want to be part of this compilation? I said, yeah, sure. Let's. I'm gonna do Bad Religion's "You," and I suck at. Like I said, I'm not good at drums, so I'm trying to play "You" on drums, and I'm not even getting close to it. So I was like, all right, well, let's change this up. So we made this like super folky. It sounds like you're in a haunted house kind of thing, which worked out perfectly. And we recorded it in my brother's bathroom. So my brother just had a baby, and we're trying to be quiet. And my brother lives in he lives in Clifton too. He put his the baby's name is Ian. My nephew, he's such a cute baby. My sister-in-law was like, all right, I'll take care of Ian. You guys record. So it's like living room and then bathroom, but the living room has the AC on, so we don't want to turn that off. So we went to the bathroom, and I have this big 30-inch monitor. This is my work computer, and I was like, it's on this like little table, and the mic. We're literally cramming next to a toilet, and we recorded the whole song, in the bathroom, except for I think the only thing that we didn't record in the bathroom was no, we recorded everything in the bathroom. So that was a fun project. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had a lot of fun with it. We
Mm-hmm.
sat there, like I said, we had fun with it. So it's on a few good records. Phony Hawks Pro Skater, a bunch of great bands are on there. I recommend checking it out.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Well, with that, Jay, I want to thank you for coming tonight, and I'm actually going to hand the show over to you. Take us out with some tunes, and I'm going to disappear from the screen now.
All right. Thank you. All right. Cool. Hey, guys. I'll play some guitar. Let's get this higher. Let's see. Tune quick. Tuning. Maybe one day things would run smoothly. Oh no, it never does. I'm telling you, nothing ever changes. It's just different names, sometimes faces. We're built to keep seeing the status quo. As long as we're kept busy, realize that we are busy. When will I get my downtime? Yeah, you won't get any unless you're a bum. Informing, trying again, use passage. Enough to keep an open mind. Hope for the best, that we'll be fine. Doesn't matter what you are making, 'cause the batter's all the same, and so is the oven. We're all harmless lemmings, like inches follow the ruler. Routine comes back full circle, and habits, they die hard. When will I get my downtime? Yeah, you won't get any unless you're a bum. Conforming, trying again, use fast and change. Enough to keep an open mind. Hope for the best, so we'll be fine. Maybe one day things will go smoothly. Oh no, it won't. It never does. I'm telling you, nothing ever changes. Just different names, sometimes faces. We're built to keep us in the status quo. As long as we're kept busy, realize that we are busy. Dude, thanks for having me. I've got one more. This song goes this one's a cover from NoFX. Little fun thing about this song was so the song's called Bob, and I'm gonna dedicate this song to my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew Ian, because one time I was with them. We went to a grocery store or something. My sister-in-law Karina goes in to grab whatever, and Ian was in the back. He's like less than 3 months old at the time. He was crying, and my brother's like, "Go play a song." My brother had his uke, and so we played No Effects is Bob, and it was kind of like the Frank Turner version. So calm down a little bit. It was his first No Effects song. It was, I think, the first No Effects song of mine too. So here's a weird, different version of Bob. He spent 15 years getting loaded, 15 years, and his liver exploded. Now what's Bob gonna do now that he can't drink? The doctor said, what you been thinking about? Bob said, that's the point. I wasn't thinking about nothing. Now I'm gonna do something else. Oi, 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 to pass the time. Someone shaved his head, he's got a new identity. 62-hole air cushion boots and a girl who rides a scooter to take him out of town. They would get away. Riding around, the truck stops by, you can hear all the trumpets go. And a thermos of Joe, you'll be kicking hands at the punk rock show. Yeah, Bob's the only guy who knows just what. Bob's the only guy who knows just what to do. Doctor tells him to quit your drinking. Now's the time. Will he ever walk the line? All my friends, I feel just fine. Will he ever walk the line? Kicking ass and bursting heads, red suspenders once a day he shaves his head. Will he ever walk the line? 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 Thanks for having me, dude.
Great job, Jay. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. One of my favorite people in the scene. Guys, go check out Disposable. If you've never seen them live, just YouTube it. You're going to be blown away. Check out the comps they're on. And Jay, any last words before we head out of here?
Nah, thanks again for having me, dude. Steve, thank you so much for organizing the virtual mic, open mics, kind of acoustic shows. You're a big contributor to the scene, so I just want to say I really appreciate you having us and just like taking care of everyone and being so cool to everyone. It's very important to sorry, not to ramble. It's very important to have like a good vibe in the scene, and you clearly bring that to it. So thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, with that said, we're going to call it a night. And as Jay just learned, it's hard to impress. Good night, everyone.
Good night.